For a long time, the galaxy believed that humans were only stories told to young cadets to keep them cautious. The aliens spoke about them in quiet voices, saying they came from a planet full of storms, beasts, and fire, a planet that trained them to be too strong, too wild, and too clever to be real. No one had ever met one. No one had ever seen one. The old stories said the Deathworlders, as they were called, had vanished after a great war thousands of years ago. To most, it was only a myth. Admiral Rintal of the Triune Coalition never believed the stories. He was a logical leader who trusted only data, numbers, and the strength of his ships. So when his fleet's scanners picked up a strange signal near the outer rim of Sector Varn, he dismissed it as a false reading. The signal came and went like static, repeating only one word every few hours. It was old and distorted, almost like a ghost whispering through the void. But when the technicians cleared the noise, they found something written in an ancient Terran language. The translation made the bridge silent. It said, "Dauntless, awake." At first, no one understood what it meant, but deep in the dark stretch of forgotten space, something massive began to move. It was a shape no alien sensor could fully recognize, covered in layers of black armor and strange markings that no one could decode. It wasn't just a ship. It was something older, something built for war when the galaxy was still young. Inside the ship, soft lights flickered on one by one. Machines hummed to life and frozen air hissed out of the cryo chambers. The sound of boots echoed on the metal floor. Commander Kang Dae-hyun opened his eyes after a long sleep. His face was calm, but his mind was sharp and cold. He had trained for this moment, though he never thought it would come. Around him, other crew members began to wake up. They were the last humans, the crew of the ISS Dauntless, the ship that had gone silent during the final battle centuries ago. "Status report," Dae-hyun said, his voice steady. Chief Engineer Lee Ha-rin checked the glowing screens. Her hands moved fast as she reconnected old systems. "Engines at 50%, she replied. "Power cells recharging. Long-range communication online. We received an SOS beacon. Old Earth code. That's what woke us up." Dae-hyun's eyes narrowed. "From who?" Ha-rin hesitated. "Unknown, but it was human." Outside, the galaxy watched as the Dauntless drifted forward. Alien patrols sent drones to scan it, but every drone lost contact within seconds. The Coalition analysts panicked. They had never seen a vessel that could hide its energy signature so perfectly. It didn't make sense. Their computers showed it as both there and not there at the same time. To them, it was like a shadow made of steel. Commander Tyrax, a spider-like alien officer, tried to open communication with the strange vessel. His voice clicked through the static. "Unknown craft, identify yourself. You are entering restricted space. Respond immediately." No answer came. Instead, the Dauntless scanned every nearby ship with invisible beams of light. The alien crews felt a chill as their systems were read in seconds. Every weakness, every weapon, every shield code, recorded quietly by the human AI. They didn't even know they had been scanned until their own computers started shutting down. Inside the Dauntless, Ha-rin frowned. "They're not responding well to our silence," she said. "Their fleet is forming around us." "Let them," Dae-hyun replied. "We are not here for them. We are here for the signal." He stood near the viewing window watching the bright alien ships surrounding them. They were beautiful, full of color and elegant design, but he knew beauty didn't win wars. Precision did. And humanity had always been precise when it came to survival. Ha-rin worked beside him, adjusting the reactor. "Do you think anyone still remembers us out there?" she asked quietly. Dae-hyun gave a small smile. "They will soon." The Dauntless slowly powered its engines. The light that spread along its hull was deep red, like fire burning under black glass. The aliens mistook it for a weapon charge and opened fire first. Beams of blue light hit the Dauntless, but nothing happened. The shots bent, twisted, and vanished into space as if the ship was made of smoke. In reply, the Dauntless moved faster than their sensors could track. It released no visible weapons, no missiles, no blasts of light. Instead, it used gravity fields to disable the Coalition's cruisers one by one. Their engines died, their shields dropped, and in minutes, 6 alien ships were left floating helplessly in silence. Not one was destroyed, not one life was lost, but the message was clear. This was power they couldn't even understand. Admiral Rintal watched from his command ship in disbelief. "What kind of vessel is that?" he shouted. How can it bend our attacks like that? No one answered. The entire fleet was terrified. For the first time in generations, the mighty coalition had met something it could not explain. On the Dauntless, Harin checked the power levels again. They're backing off, she said softly. Do we pursue? Daehyun shook his head.
No, we're not here to fight, not yet.
Find the source of that signal. A map appeared on the main screen showing a faint pulse from the edge of the galactic rim. The coordinates led to a planet the coalition had labeled as a wasteland centuries ago, but the computer recognized it immediately. The planet's name was written in ancient Earth code. Harin read it out loud, her voice almost a whisper. New Sol. Everyone on the bridge went quiet. It wasn't just a planet. It was one of humanity's lost colonies, one the galaxy had long forgotten. Daehyun turned toward his crew. Set course, he ordered. Let's bring our people home. As the Dauntless changed direction, alien ships moved aside, afraid to block its path. The stories of Deathworlders began to spread again across the communication networks. Some said they were demons in human form. Others said they were gods returning to judge the galaxy. But to those who had seen the battle, it was something worse. They were real. And somewhere deep in the memory banks of the Dauntless, an old human song began to play. It was slow, calm, and full of sorrow. The crew listened quietly as stars drifted by. They didn't know what waited for them on that lost planet, or who had sent the SOS, but they knew one thing with certainty. The galaxy had forgotten them. But they had never forgotten the galaxy. The myths had called them extinct. The truth had called them survivors. But soon everyone would know the real name that history tried to bury. Human. The Dauntless moved silently through the dark void, its black hull reflecting distant stars like shards of glass. The crew worked quickly and efficiently, each movement precise and practiced. Kang Dae-hyun stood at the bridge, his eyes scanning the displays while Lee Harin monitored the ship's systems. The SOS signal pulsed faintly, leading them closer to the unknown. The message had come from an uncharted region, one where no coalition patrol dared linger. It was a place where myths were born, and now the legends were returning. As they approached the signal's origin, a small alien scouting vessel appeared on the sensors. It was sleek, long, and fast, built for intelligence gathering rather than combat. The aliens did not recognize the Dauntless, nor did they know the humans were awake after centuries of sleep. Commander Tyrax's voice came over their comms, harsh and clicking. Unknown vessel, identify yourself. You are trespassing in restricted space. Prepare to be boarded. Daehyun smiled faintly. We will not be boarded, he said. His voice was calm, steady, but carried the weight of authority. He tapped a few commands and the ship's energy field shifted. The alien vessel froze in space, its engines sputtering as if confused by a sudden, invisible hand. Every system on the scout ship went dark, leaving it drifting helplessly. Harin leaned over the console, eyes wide. I didn't think our systems could do that yet. They must have been designed to respond to large fleets. We barely activated half our power. Daehyun nodded. We are only warming up. He paused and looked at the stars ahead. Keep scanning. I want every piece of data they send. The aliens tried to communicate again, sending complex signals, demanding identification, warning of attack. But the humans ignored them. Instead, the Dauntless continued its silent approach. The small scouting ship had no choice but to retreat, leaving the path open. On the bridge, the young pilot Park Ji-woo adjusted the ship's trajectory with calm precision, weaving through asteroid fields with movements that seemed impossible. Every maneuver was exact, every calculation flawless. The humans were not just strong, they were clever beyond expectation. As the signal grew stronger, Harin noticed something strange. Commander, the beacon. It is not just old. It is tied to a human colony, she said. It was created before the Great Silence. It must have survived all this time. Daehyun's face hardened. Then someone out there wants us to find them. Someone who remembered. He turned to the crew. Prepare for landing. We do not know what awaits us, but we will face it together. The Dauntless approached the planet slowly. On the surface, dense forests covered mountains. Rivers sparkled under alien suns, and the air, though thin, carried faint traces of old technology. It was a human colony, lost to history and forgotten by the galaxy. The SOS signal had been sent by automated systems that had survived centuries of neglect. Somehow the message had remained active, waiting for the humans to return. As they landed, the ground trembled slightly beneath the ship's massive weight. Daehyun and Harin led a small team to investigate the source of the signal. The forest was dense, quiet, and eerily still. Birds with iridescent feathers watched silently from above, and strange creatures scuttled among the roots. But the humans were not afraid. They had trained for worse. They had survived worse. Near the center of the signal's origin, the crew found the ruins of an old communications tower, cracked and overgrown, but still partially operational. Harin knelt beside the control panel, brushing away layers of dust and dirt. "It's amazing," she whispered. "This system, it has been running on backup power for centuries. The signal is a call to us and only us. No one else could ever interpret it." Daehyun crouched beside her, studying the readings. "This is why the galaxy forgot humans," he said. "We left no trace, and now we return quietly, unnoticed until the right time." He looked up at the stars, the alien fleets that still hovered far above, and felt a surge of determination. The myths were real, and humans were here to prove it. Suddenly, a movement in the trees caught Jiwoo's attention. Shadows moved with unnatural speed. The team drew their weapons, but it was not what they expected. A group of humans, descendants of the lost colony, emerged. Their clothes were simple, functional, and covered with dirt. Their eyes widened as they saw the Dauntless. These humans had survived isolation, growing strong and clever on a planet the galaxy had forgotten. Names like Kim Seojin, Han Yun-mi, and Choi Min-seok were whispered as they introduced themselves, tentative and in awe. Daehyun stepped forward. "We are your kin," he said, voice steady. "We have come because you called us." The descendants stared, disbelief written on their faces. They had only heard legends passed down from parents and grandparents. Humans were supposed to be myths, stories of heroes too dangerous to survive, and now they were standing in front of them, real, alive, and commanding a ship no one could imagine. Harin helped connect the colony's ancient systems to the Dauntless, restoring communications and energy flow. Slowly, lights blinked on in old buildings, machinery hummed, and history whispered itself back to life. The colony had survived, but it had been waiting. Waiting for the humans to return. Waiting for the legends to become real again. High above the planet, the Coalition fleet detected the Dauntless and the colony's awakening. Panic spread through their command channels. "What is this?" demanded Admiral Rintal. "That ship. It is not possible. No species can do that. No fleet can operate in such silence, such power." His crew trembled. "They are humans, but they cannot exist. They are extinct." The humans on the ground and the Dauntless in orbit knew better. Daehyun's mind was clear. "They thought we were gone," he said. "They thought humans were stories. We will show them the truth." He looked at Harin and Jiwoo. "Prepare the ship. We may not need to fight, but we will be ready if they come." Harin nodded, her fingers dancing across the controls. "Power is at 70%. Weapons are ready if needed. They will not expect us to respond. We can observe, record, and defend ourselves." Jiwoo smiled faintly. "They will see us and they will remember." The night fell over the lost colony, but above, stars reflected the movement of the Dauntless. Humans had returned to the galaxy quietly, carefully, but their presence was undeniable. Every alien who saw them in the dark void felt a chill, a sense of something they could not understand. They had only heard legends. Now the humans were real, awake and fully aware of their place in the stars. In that silence, Daehyun spoke to his crew, voice calm but commanding. "We will not be hunted. We will not hide. The galaxy will know humans are alive. Let the legends spread again, but let them carry the truth. We are here, and we will not be ignored." The descendants of the colony gathered around, curious and cautious. They had survived on a world the galaxy abandoned, and now they were meeting their kin for the first time in centuries. Stories of the old human fleets, the battles, the victories, the losses, they all felt real for the first time. They saw the Dauntless, and they understood that legends were born from truth. And truth was standing before them. The Dauntless rested lightly on the soil, but its presence carried a weight heavier than any mountain. It was a reminder that humans, once thought to be extinct, were now awake. They had survived, grown stronger, and returned not as shadows of the past, but as living proof of what the galaxy had forgotten. And somewhere, far beyond the edges of known space, the first whispers of fear began to spread across alien worlds. The myths had come back. The humans were no longer stories. They were real. They were awake. And their dangerous battleships were only the beginning. The Dauntless rose from the planet slowly, its engines humming like a quiet storm. Kang Dae-hyun stood on the bridge, watching the descendants of the lost colony wave from below. They were cautious, but their eyes shone with hope. The humans had returned to a galaxy that had forgotten them, and now they were beginning to understand that survival was not enough. They had to act. Lee Hae-rin checked the ship's systems again, ensuring everything was functioning perfectly. Commander, all systems are stable. Communications with the colony are secure. Their technology is old, but we can integrate it with our ship's systems, she said. We could even repair some of their generators in minutes. Dae-hyun nodded. Good. We need to bring them back into the fold. They need to see that humans survive, and they need to know that we are capable of more than legend. His eyes shifted to the sensors. Coalition signals are approaching. They know we are here. Park Ji-woo's hands moved across the controls. Sensors detect multiple fleets converging from all directions. They are confused and cautious. They must not have ever seen a ship like ours before. Their readings are inconsistent. The Dauntless had awakened more than a colony. It had awakened fear. The alien fleets, long believing humans were extinct, now scrambled to understand the impossible. Every fleet commander tried to calculate, estimate, or guess the capabilities of the Dauntless, but nothing worked. Its movements were precise, its defenses unmatched, and its attack potential unknown. Dae-hyun studied the approaching ships. We will not attack them unless necessary, he said. Let them see us first. Let them understand that myths have returned. Harin watched him, understanding the weight of his words. They will not stop until they test us, she said quietly. We need a plan if they engage. Dae-hyun smiled faintly. We do not plan for engagement. We prepare for perfection. As the Dauntless moved closer to the edge of the system, it intercepted files being transmitted between the coalition fleets. The information revealed the truth the aliens had long tried to hide. Humans had been erased from most records after the Burning War. Their colonies destroyed, their stargates closed, and their fleets scattered. The archives showed images of massive human dreadnoughts, weapons of unimaginable design, and soldiers who could survive conditions no other species could endure. Humans were not just warriors. They were survivors built for impossible odds. Harin leaned closer to the console. Commander, look at this. These are records of our ancestors. They fought against impossible fleets and won. Her voice trembled slightly. We are following their path, continuing what they started. Dae-hyun studied the images. Our ancestors were never extinct. They were waiting. And now it is our turn. He turned to Ji-woo. Prepare a data link. I want every fleet in the system to know we are awake and we are watching. The descendants on the planet watched the Dauntless from below as it hovered above the clouds. The people who had survived in isolation were amazed. They had learned the old ways, the survival skills and the stories, but they had never imagined seeing a real human dreadnought. The sight was overwhelming, and for the first time in generations, the legends became reality. Suddenly, a small group of alien fighters broke from the coalition formation. They attempted a swift strike against the Dauntless, thinking their numbers could overwhelm it. The attack was simple, fast, and precise, but it failed instantly. The human ship responded without weapons. Energy fields bent and redirected the attacks, sending the alien ship spinning harmlessly into space. The bridge crew watched silently, calm but alert. Each move was calculated, each reaction instantaneous. Dae-hyun spoke softly. They think numbers will win. They do not understand precision. They do not understand humanity. The aliens retreated, regrouping into a more organized formation. Admiral Rheintal's frustration was clear across every channel. How is this possible? He demanded. They should not exist. Their technology, their ship, their precision. It defies everything we know. Alert all fleets. Do not let them leave this system. Dae-hyun, listening to the broadcasts intercepted from the alien fleets, smiled faintly. They do not understand fear. They only know rules, and we do not follow rules anymore. Harin adjusted the systems, sending out quiet signals to the planet below. She activated emergency defenses, old cannons, and energy shields reconnected to the Dauntless. If they come closer, the colony will be ready. They have no idea how prepared they will be. Ji-woo focused on the flight systems. We can track every ship. We can predict their movements. The humans of today can do what they could not imagine a century ago. On the planet, the descendants began to feel hope. They watched the dauntless, the human crew, and realized that their survival had a purpose beyond mere existence. Humans were not meant to hide. They were meant to rise, and the galaxy would remember their strength. Dae-hyun stood and looked at the stars beyond the bridge window. "It is time to show them," he said quietly. "Not with destruction, but with presence. Humans are here, and we will remind the galaxy why they feared us." The Dauntless moved into position, hovering over the system's central planet. Its engines glowed with a quiet fire. Its shields radiated a strange light that caused alien sensors to misread distances and sizes. The presence alone caused hesitation in the coalition fleets. No one wanted to make the first mistake. Harin checked the tactical systems again. They are unsure. They are scared, but they do not know why. The fleet commanders cannot decide on an attack pattern because they cannot predict us. Dae-hyun turned to the young pilot. "Jiwoo, prepare a demonstration. Nothing fatal. Let them see the ship's capabilities. They need to understand, but they must survive. Observation is enough for now." Jiwoo smiled faintly, his hands steady on the controls. "Ready when you are, Commander." The Dauntless shifted position, releasing small decoy fields that moved independently. To the alien fleets, it looked as if multiple ships were appearing and disappearing in seconds. They attempted to target these phantom vessels, but every shot was wasted. One by one, alien cruisers failed to keep up, their coordination collapsing under the illusion of multiple human dreadnoughts. The descendants on the planet cheered quietly, not fully understanding the battle but feeling the power of their kin. Dae-hyun's eyes remained calm, his mind focused. This was not war. This was demonstration. The galaxy needed to see that humans were not a myth, and that even one ship could rewrite the balance of power. Finally, the alien fleets paused. Admiral Rintal, for the first time, realized that he faced not a fleet of ships, but a single human vessel capable of controlling the battlefield. "Impossible," he whispered. "This cannot be real. They are humans." Dae-hyun observed the hesitation and knew the moment had passed. He turned to Harin. "Keep the ship ready. Observe their movements. This is only the beginning." Harin nodded, her hands never leaving the console. "They will regroup. They will come again. But we will be ready." Dae-hyun looked out at the stars once more. "Let them come. Let them see what it means to face humanity. Legends are alive, and humans have returned not for stories but for the galaxy itself." The Dauntless remained above the planet, a dark symbol of strength, hope, and survival. The descendants below looked up at their kin and understood for the first time that myths could become reality. Humans had returned not as whispers in history, but as beings of action, precision, and unmatched power. The galaxy would never forget them again. The coalition fleets gathered, forming a wall of ships around the system. Thousands of vessels moved in perfect formation, their engines glowing like a web of light in the darkness. Admiral Rintal's voice echoed through his flagship. "They cannot escape. That vessel is only one, but it is dangerous. Prepare to engage." On the Dauntless, Kang Dae-hyun observed the fleet calmly. He had expected this. The aliens would try to intimidate with numbers, believing that overwhelming force could overcome precision. He turned to Lee Harin. "Power all defensive systems. Keep the energy field stable. We will not attack unless they force us." Harin's fingers moved quickly over the controls. "Shields at 90%. Decoy protocols ready. Weapon systems are online, though I agree with you. No firing unless necessary." She paused, glancing at the sensors. "They are moving closer. They do not understand what we are capable of." Park Ji-woo piloted the ship with calm precision, weaving through asteroid debris and invisible energy currents. The Dauntless moved like a shadow, faster and more agile than any coalition vessel. From above, the fleets could not predict its path. Every attempt to lock targeting failed, and every sensor readout was confused. Dae-hyun studied the approaching formations. "They will test us," he said quietly. "They will send small groups to see how we react. Observe, but do not engage yet." The first wave of alien fighters broke from the formation, speeding toward the Dauntless. Each ship attempted to coordinate attacks, but the humans anticipated their moves. Small energy pulses bent their beams, deflected projectiles, and sent drones spinning helplessly into space. Not a single human weapon fired, yet the fleet could not advance. Harin leaned closer to the console, her eyes wide. "Their formations are collapsing. They cannot adapt to our movements. They are fast but predictable." Dae-hyun nodded. Humans are not predictable. We act with purpose, not instinct alone. Let them learn this. Above the battlefield, the coalition's commanders grew frantic. Admiral Rintal barked orders, trying to maintain cohesion. Do not retreat. Focus fire. Target the vessel. But his fleet could not decide. Every attempt to strike was thwarted by the ship's invisible defenses and flawless maneuvers. Sensors failed, weapons misfired, and morale dropped. Meanwhile, on the Dauntless, Harin activated advanced decoy systems. Multiple phantom ships appeared around the real vessel, each moving independently. The alien fleets attempted to engage, wasting energy and resources on shadows. One by one, their numbers dwindled as their engines overheated and shields failed under the strain of their own calculations. Jiwoo smiled faintly as he guided the ship. They think they are attacking a fleet. They do not see the truth, Daehyun observed the chaos. This is not victory. This is demonstration. Let them know humans are here, and they cannot fight us without understanding our strength. From the planet below, the descendants of the lost colony watched in awe. They saw the alien ships retreat, the phantom vessels disappearing, and the Dauntless standing still. Their hearts swelled with pride. For centuries, humans had survived in hiding, and now they were proving that survival was not the limit. Humans could not only endure, they could dominate the battlefield without firing a shot. Rintal's frustration grew. He had commanded fleets across decades, seen civilizations conquered and empires fall. Yet here was a single vessel, a legend capable of bending the rules of warfare. Impossible, he shouted. This is one ship.
One ship cannot do this.
They are humans. The Dauntless remained calm above the system, but Daehyun knew the coalition would not back down. Numbers alone would not win, but desperation could force them to act recklessly. He turned to Harin. Prepare offensive systems. We may need them if they make a mistake. Harin nodded. She activated the plasma lances, energy cannons, and gravity disruptors. Each system hummed quietly, waiting for command. The ship's true power remained hidden, ready to respond with precision and devastating efficiency. Daehyun looked at Jiwoo. Keep monitoring. We cannot underestimate them. Observe every movement, predict every reaction. Humans always prepare for the impossible. Below, the descendants began organizing. Kim Seo-jin, Han Eun-mi, and Choi Min-seok worked together to repair old energy relays, connect dormant cannons, and strengthen the colony's defenses. They had survived alone for generations, but now they were part of something greater. They were connected to their kin, and together they were part of a force the galaxy had forgotten. Above the battlefield, the coalition fleets hesitated. They had never faced an opponent like this. One vessel had forced them into disarray, and the thought of advancing further filled their commanders with dread. Every calculation failed, every strategy collapsed. Fear spread silently among their crews, even in ships designed to dominate. Daehyun spoke quietly, his voice calm but firm. They will return. They will test us again. And when they do, we will show them the full extent of human capability, not through numbers but through precision, strategy, and courage. Harin monitored the fleet movements. They are regrouping. They will come again, but not with the same confidence. They are learning fear. Jiwoo smiled faintly. It is the first time they have felt it. And it will not be the last. Daehyun turned to the crew. Remember this, humans are not just warriors. We are survivors. We are legends, but we are real. And today, the galaxy begins to understand that stories are only the beginning. Our actions define the truth. The Dauntless moved slowly away from the immediate battlefield, maintaining a position above the system while keeping the alien fleets in check. It was a symbol, a reminder that humans had returned. They had awakened from history, stronger and more capable than anyone had imagined. On the planet below, the descendants watched and learned. They saw that human ingenuity and courage could overcome impossible odds. They realized that survival was only the first step, and that humans were meant to rise, not hide. The coalition fleets, scattered and confused, slowly withdrew to regroup. They had witnessed power beyond comprehension, a single vessel capable of controlling the battlefield. For the first time, they understood what it meant to fear a species thought extinct. Daehyun stood quietly on the bridge, looking at the stars. This is only the beginning, he said softly. The galaxy will remember humanity not as myth but as reality. They will respect us. They will fear us, and they will never forget that humans survive. Always. Harin placed a hand on his shoulder. We have shown them, Commander. They know who we are now. Daehyun nodded, eyes fixed on the distant stars. Yes, but one demonstration is not enough. Humans do not fight with chaos. We fight with purpose, with precision, and soon the galaxy will see the full truth. Below, the descendants cheered quietly, understanding their place in history. They had survived isolation and neglect, but now they were connected to something greater, the legacy of humanity. The Dauntless remained in orbit, a dark symbol of power, hope, and survival. Above the system, the stars reflected in its black hull like scattered diamonds. Every alien ship that observed it knew that humans had returned. Legends were real. Humans were awake, and their dangerous battleships were only the beginning. The Dauntless floated silently above the planet, its hull glowing faintly under the distant stars. Kang Daehyun stood on the bridge looking out at the fleets that still lingered on the edge of the system. The coalition forces had withdrawn for now, but he knew it was only temporary. They would return, eager to understand what humans had become, and eager to test their legend. Lee Ha-ren monitored the ship's systems with calm efficiency. All power systems stable. Shields are holding. Communications are secure. The colony below is fully connected. They are safe. For now, she said. Her eyes shifted to the distant fleet readings. They are scared. They do not know how to respond. Every calculation they make fails. Daehyun nodded. Good, let them be scared. Fear is a teacher, and humans are always prepared to learn faster than anyone else. He turned to Ji-woo, who piloted the Dauntless with a quiet confidence that belied his youth. Keep monitoring. We need to know their movements, their intent, their mistakes before they even make them. Ji-woo smiled faintly, fingers moving over the controls with precision. Understood, Commander. They cannot hide anything from us. The descendants on the planet below began reconnecting their systems with the Dauntless. Kim Seo-jin, Han Eun-mi, and Choi Min-seok worked tirelessly, repairing old energy relays, activating long dormant sensors, and restoring defensive grids. The colony had survived in isolation for generations, but now they were part of something much larger. Humans had returned to the galaxy and the lost colonies were rising again. Daehyun spoke quietly to his crew. We are not here to destroy. We are here to remind the galaxy that humans exist and that we survive. Every ship, every fleet, every species that encounters us must understand that humans are real. Our presence is enough, Harin nodded. The coalition fleets will report back. Others will hear. The galaxy will know the truth. But what about the next step, Commander? Daehyun's eyes glimmered with determination. We do not wait for the galaxy to act. We act first. Observation first, presence first. And when necessary, action will follow. The Dauntless moved slowly in orbit, its engines creating soft waves in the planet's upper atmosphere. Below, the descendants watched with awe and pride. They had survived alone, forgotten by the galaxy, and now they were connected to their kin once more. The legends of humanity, long thought extinct, were alive in every person standing beneath the massive ship. Suddenly, alien signals appeared on the sensors. Small fleets approached cautiously, attempting to assess the situation. Daehyun studied them carefully. They are testing our reaction, let them. But do not respond with aggression. Observation will teach them faster than conflict. Harin activated subtle defensive measures, energy fields bending space around the ship, making it appear larger and faster than it actually was. Phantom vessels projected across the fleet, multiplying the presence of the Dauntless. The aliens hesitated, unsure of what they faced. Fear spread quietly among their crews. Ji-woo maneuvered the ship through a series of silent patterns, scanning and predicting every movement. They cannot keep up, he said quietly. Their formations are breaking down and they do not know why. Daehyun smiled faintly. They will learn. Humans are not only strong but clever. Precision will always beat numbers when used wisely. From the planet, the descendants began preparing to contribute to the larger effort. They repaired old communications arrays, activated sensor networks, and even tested energy weapons left dormant for centuries. They had grown strong on their own, but now they were part of a larger purpose, a purpose that reminded the galaxy that humans survived, evolved, and were ready to take their place once again. The coalition fleets watched helplessly as their calculations failed repeatedly. Not a single human had fired a weapon, yet the fleet was in chaos. Their sensors misread distances, their targeting systems failed, and their formations broke apart. Admiral Rintal could not understand it. One ship against thousands. How is this possible? Daehyun observed the fleets, his expression calm. They cannot comprehend humans because they have forgotten what survival truly means. They think numbers are enough. We show them that preparation, skill, and purpose define strength. Harin leaned over the controls. Commander, they are sending envoys now. They want to communicate. They must understand the reality before they risk everything. Daehyun nodded. Very well. Open the channel but maintain authority. Let them know we are humans. Let them feel the truth. A holographic projection appeared in the bridge. Admiral Rintal's face filled the space, stern and fearful. Humans, we believed you were extinct. Your presence is impossible. Identify your intentions or we will be forced to act. Daehyun's voice was calm and firm. We are here to remind the galaxy that humans survive. We do not seek war, but we will not be ignored. Every action we take will demonstrate that legends are real. We remember the past, and we are capable of enforcing our survival. Rintal's eyes widened, uncertainty breaking through his usual composure. You are humans? The myths, they are real? Yes, Daehyun replied. Humans are real. We have survived. We have returned. And this is only the beginning. Below, the descendants cheered quietly, witnessing the first acknowledgement of humans by the galaxy's largest fleets. They realized that survival was not enough. Action, presence, and determination were what made humans legends. Daehyun turned to Harin and Jiwoo. Prepare for departure. We will not remain in one place. Observation and presence must continue. The galaxy must remember humanity, and we will remind them again and again if necessary. Harin activated the engines, preparing the Dauntless for departure. All systems ready. Shields stable. Decoys operational. The colony is fully connected to our sensors. We can move at any speed. Jiwoo piloted the ship with calm precision, weaving through the gravitational currents and asteroid belts as if they were paths in a garden. We are ready, he said softly. Daehyun observed the distant fleets retreating slowly, hesitant and unsure. They will report what they saw, he said. Every fleet, every species will hear. The galaxy will know that humans exist, that humans survive, and that humans are capable of far more than anyone imagined. Harin smiled faintly. Do you think they will ever truly understand us? Daehyun's eyes glimmered with quiet confidence. They do not need to understand. They only need to remember. Legends are born from truth, and humans have returned to remind them. Presence, skill, and survival, these are our message. Everything else follows naturally. The Dauntless lifted off the planet, moving silently into the depths of space. Below, the descendants waved, their hearts filled with hope, pride, and a sense of belonging they had never felt before. The lost colony had survived centuries of isolation, and now they were part of something far greater. The galaxy would never forget humanity again. One ship, one crew, one legacy had changed the perception of entire civilizations. Humans were no longer myths, no longer whispers in history. They were real, awake, and capable of feats that would challenge every empire, every fleet, every species. Daehyun stood quietly on the bridge, watching the stars drift by. This is only the beginning, he said softly. The galaxy will learn that humans are not to be ignored. They are survivors, legends, and warriors, and someday they will see the full extent of our power. Harin placed a hand on his shoulder. We have done it. We have reminded them. Daehyun nodded, his gaze still fixed on the distant stars. Yes, but reminding is only the first step. Humans survive not by legend alone, but by action, and our actions will shape the galaxy from this day forward. The Dauntless disappeared into the dark expanse of space, leaving behind a galaxy that would never see humanity the same way again. The myths had become reality. The legends had awakened. And the humans, survivors of worlds forgotten, were ready to reclaim their place among the stars. The SOS had been answered, not with negotiation or plea, but with presence, precision, and undeniable proof of humanity's strength. The galaxy would remember. Humanity had returned, and the dangerous battleships were only the beginning of a legacy that no species would forget.